Hi there, I hope you are doing well and welcome to the session number 4 of the passive voice. This is part of a series of English practice videos brought to you by English Windows online learning platform to help second baccalaureate students in Morocco get ready and well prepared for the English national exam, especially the grammar section. Today, guys, we are at the case number 4. And in this case, we are going to deal with the imperative sentences. Previously, we dealt with different, kinds of sentences and statements, like the declarative sentences, sentences that contain modal verbs, and also another case where we have verbs with two objects and so on. Today, we are dealing with imperative statements. An imperative statement is any statement that gives an instruction or expresses an instruction, an order, a command, or maybe a request or an advice to. And in terms of form, guys, this imperative statement, one of the way and the common way to, or the direct way to express an imperative statement is to begin our sentence with a verb in bare infinitive, with a verb in the base form, just like go, come, write, turn on the TV, switch on the lights, whatever, right? Such statements that begins with this verb in the base form. And normally these verbs are normally in the simple present tense, right? Because the orders cannot be right, just issued in the past, right? Orders are basically taking place right now in the present time. So this doesn't matter actually, right? What matters is that how can we transfer this statement or imperative sentences from the active form, their active form, into the passive form? Maybe, guys, the fifth steps that we have seen last time during the previous session, we may not need all the fifth steps that we have seen, right? Including, guys, basically the last stage, which has to do with the by phrase, or we don't need all that stuff, right, that we have seen, right, last time. But there are some basic information again that we are required to learn and to know. Basically, again, the part of speech, we should exactly recognize the verb, recognize the objects, the active objects. It's very important. And also another step, the step number 2, where we are required to start with the objects or the active objects. This is again one way to to transfer these statements, the imperative statements, into the passive. So to make it very simple and easier for you to understand and figure out, I am suggesting right now just to focus on these 3 ways that we have here above, if you want to transfer a statement, an imperative statement, into the passive. One way, there are many options, to do it, and I'm suggesting here some of the 3 basic common ways. One of the ways, as you can see here, guys, is to come up first of all to start with the active objects as usual, as we have seen in the tradition, right, in the previous cases, to start with the active objects, with the objects in the active statement that we have. Plus what? Plus a modal auxiliary. Here we can make use of modal auxiliaries. They are called auxiliaries, guys, because they help us. They help us, express a certain meaning, a certain function, whatever. So we can use a modal auxiliary that serves the meaning of our statement. Because the order, an imperative statement can have different functions, can express different meanings. It can be an obligation. This is the basic, function, or the basic meaning of an imperative statement, is that it expresses an order. an obligation from someone who maybe possess a high authority and power to someone who, with lower authority. Okay, so here it's an obligation. I can use a must, great. I can use also should, great. It's possible. And an imperative statement can express a request. It can express an advice. It's just an advice. It's not an order, great. So it's an instruction, maybe just go there, great, and so on. So we got different functions out there. So no matter what the function is, great, one of the way in terms of form, we just focus on the mechanics here and the the form, we can make use of a modal verb, right? And we can choose the right one that serves, the right one that serves the meaning and the function of our statement. Like must, should, and so on, right? Plus what? Plus the verb be. Be here takes the form of the verb that we have, right? All the statements, the imperative statements that we have here start with a verb in the base form, in bare infinitive, right? In an infinitive without to, right? Okay, so the verb to be should take the same form, which is be. Close, be. Turn, be. Do, be. Don't, be not, right? Obey, be, and so on, right? Plus what? Plus the past participle again of the main verb. As we talked many times again, there must be this form, right? The past participle should be there so that we can talk about, a statement in the passive form, right? Okay, so this is one way, guys, to do it, right? Okay, we can start with our active objects, and then the must or should or whatever, right? Auxiliary, modal auxiliary that serves the meaning of our statement, plus be plus the past participle. Another way, number 2, is we can start our statements this way. You are plus the past participle of a verb that expresses the meaning and the function of our imperative statement. If we understand, maybe if the statement expresses, if we feel that the statement expresses request, we can say you are requested plus to the infinitive plus the main verb. You are requested to, right, to sign here, right? Or you're requested to open the door, right? Whatever, right? If we feel that the statement implies request or expresses request. If it's a clear order and obligation, we may say you are ordered to do something, right? Or you are obliged to do something, right? Because guys, why did we start here with you? Because normally this statement, this imperative sentences, normally the person who is addressed is you, right? It's either in the singular form or in the plural form, it doesn't matter, right? That's why, again, right, we can start this way, right, to express, to put our statement in the passive form. You are ordered, instead of focusing on the of starting with the or by the subjects, by the active objects. Okay, so this is one way, guys. You can say you are ordered to do something, or you are advised to do something if we feel that there is an advice, in the statement, or you are required to do something, again, some kind of, necessity and so on, right? Voilà, so that's one of the way to express, to constructs our passive statement. Another way, and the third suggestion here, guys, is to use this verb let's plus the active objects, the objects in the active statement, plus the verb be. There must be the verb to be should be there when talking about the passive voice. No matter what the type of sentence or case that we are in, we are required to use the verb to be together with the passive form or the past participle of the verb. So you can use this expression again. Let's plus the active object, be plus the past participle of the active verb. Right? Now, let's work on these statements, this example, guys, to make it clear. And we're going to put these instructions or these suggestions into action or into practice. Number one, close the door right now. If we use if we apply the first rule, guys, we're going to say we start with the active object here, which is the door, plus must. Then it becomes the door must, then be, plus the past participle, as you can see here, the verb, which is close. So it becomes closed. The door must be closed, and then we continue, the remainder of the statement, or the adverb of time here, right? Right now, right? Okay, sorry, right. Let's again, right, use the blue color here, right? Okay, so as you can see here, this is the verb. We usually, right, mark or highlight the verb, right, using the green color. And we have here the verb, the noun here is mostly, right, the object is mostly marked using the yellow, right, as we use it to do. And that's it, right? So you see here, the door must be closed right now. If we'd like right now to make use of the second rule, or the second suggestion here, guys, using the expression like you are ordered, or you are advised, you are required, you are requested, and so on, plus to plus the main verb. So we have here, close the door right now. What kind of function or meaning that the statement express? It may be an order, right? Generally speaking, it's an order, right? We feel that someone has a certain authority, right, that is higher than the other, right? And sometimes it can be just a request, right? But this is not the right way to express a request. If you want to request in a polite way, to request someone to do something in a polite way, that wouldn't be the right, expression to use. So let's consider it an obligation. And then here in this case, we can use you are ordered, right? The expression here, you are ordered. Okay, so you are, in a way, right? It's, we can consider it request. It depends on the context here. We don't have enough information about the context. If we know who says to whom, right, we can, right, we can, guess what the function is. Is it a request? We can use this expression, you are requested. If it's a requirement, we say you are required. If it's an advice, we can say you are advised, and so on, right? But let's consider it literally, right, an order, and then say, use the expression, you are ordered. Whatever expression you use, guys, it's no problem. Whatever expression you use is considered correct. Okay, there is no reason to reject or turn down your suggestion because we don't have enough information about, no enough information is communicated by the statement, right? You are ordered to close the door. Here we go, guys. So this is, right, another way to express a statement. Okay, here there's no need to add, right, the exclamation mark at the end, right? Okay, so here we go, guys. Let's move on to the next, guys. You are ordered to close the door. As you can see here again, the door must be open. We always have the verb to be plus past participle of a certain verb here, right? Are, right? This is the verb to be, and then ordered, right? Now let's apply this the third, case here. Let's plus the active objects plus be plus the past participle, right? Here we are going to use let at the beginning. This is another way. Another suggestion to transfer the statement, the imperative statement into the passive. we can use let plus the active verb here, which is the door, let the door, plus be, plus the past participle, which is of the verb, which is closed. Let the door be closed. All right, this is another way to figure out the this case. Okay, here we go. Right. Okay, now if you understood, guys, let's move on to the next suggestion, number 2, next statement. Okay, and you can interact, suggest and guess how we can put the statement into the passive form. We have your turn on the TV or the television. Again, let's apply the first rule, right? Or the first suggestion here, or form, or structure. The active objects here, guys, is as usual. The verb, first of all, is we got turn on. This is a phrasal verb, by the way. And then we have the TV. TV, this is, right, the verb. This is the active objects, the objects. So will be the statement would be, right, the television or the TV, just to make it short. The TV must be turned on. If we feel that this is an obligation, but it's not that obligation actually, right? If it can, will be considered as a request, right? Something relevant to TV and so on, right? Maybe your father, right, or your sister is requesting you to turn on the TV, right? So let's at this time make use, modal verb that is a little bit, right, less, right, intensive, right, or less compelling, right, so to speak. Not just like mass, it's expressed an extreme obligation, right? So let's use should. Should, I feel that it's lighter, right, than or less, let me say, right, authoritative, right, than the modal verb mass. The TV, let's say, should plus should be. Again, we are applying the first form structure. The TV should be, and then the past participle of the verb turn becomes turned. It's a regular verb, turned on. Here we go, right. The TV should be turned on. Or if it's an obligation, we say the TV, right, the TV should be, we say must be turned on, right, if you like, right. It doesn't matter, right. Okay, whatever you do would be considered okay. The TV should be turned on, right? Another way, number 2, you are ordered. If it's an order, we can say you are ordered to turn on the TV, right? But I prefer to use request here just to vary, right, the expression, especially that turning the television is not, doesn't require that kind of order, right? Okay, so let's use here you are requested. You are requested to turn on the TV. Now our statement is in the passive form. You are requested. Here you is the subject, here are, and then requested, right, is a verb in the past participle, which means that now we have this passive construction or structure. You're required or you are requested to turn on the TV. Number 3, we can use let plus the active verb here, the active objects, let the TV, plus be, and the past participle of the verb here, which is turn, becomes turned on. Let the TV be turned on. Here we go. Now I think everything is okay now, guys. Okay. Let's move to the third example. Do your homework. Do your homework. Right. Now it comes to homework, it sounds that, maybe a teacher or maybe a parent is given an order, right, to student or their kid, right, to do his homework, right, and assignments, right. So let's use here must in this case, maybe, right, would be preferable. So we would say your homework. We start as usual with the objects, and then the modal verb here like must be, and then the verb to do in the past participle we say done. Your homework must be done, right? This is a parent maybe says to his child. Okay. Number 2, guys. Let's use here you are ordered, guys, or you are required, guys. Both are acceptable. Let's use required. مطلوب منك أن تفعل كذا وكذا, right? You are required to do your homework. You can say you are ordered to do your homework. It's okay. All of them are acceptable. And the last example, let's plus your homework, the active objects here, plus be plus the past participle of the verb, we say done. To do, did in the past, right, in simple past, and then done in the past participle. Okay. Alright, guys, very good. Great. Let's move to number 4. Don't disturb your friend. Don't disturb your friend. It sounds like maybe someone with the high authority is ordering again. A child or boy or whatever, right, or whosoever. So it's maybe an order. It can be considered as an order, right? Again, we can use must or should. If you like, you can use should, right? It's either to express obligation or advice or whatever, right? So let's use should, right? Because it has this moral obligation, maybe, right? Talking about not disturbing others and so on. That's kind of moral obligation. Let's use should, guys. Don't disturb your friend, guys. So let's start with the objects as usual. Your friend. We keep the negation as it is. We have here don't in the negative form, so we say shouldn't plus be plus the past participle as usual of the active verb of the AV. Shouldn't be disturbed. Past participle of the verb here would be disturbed, right? It's a regular verb. Okay, here we go, guys. So let's put this in blue, right? Again, here we haven't determined exactly the highlight. We haven't highlighted the parts of speech. Don't disturb. This is the verb combination again, or pattern, and then your friend is the objects, right? Okay. Okay, and let's move to number 2, right? The case number 2, we can write or the suggestion number 2, instruction number 2. We can use this expression: you're ordered, or you're advised, or you're required, and so on, right? Okay, so let's use if you like, we can use advice. You can, right? Okay, so let's use the order, right? Okay, let's imagine or suppose that someone with a higher authority is ordering, let's say, a boy or whatever, right, whosoever, to obey, right? Okay, so we say here you are ordered, or you are obliged if you like, right? So remember that these are only some suggestions. You can have more than a verb, right, that expresses a specific meaning, right, or similar meaning, right? Okay, so you have your you are advised, or you are ordered. You have your you are obliged to, or whatever, right? Let's use you are obliged, right? In this case, you're obliged to not. We have to keep the negation, right, as it is, guys. You're obliged not to disturb your friend. We have added not here, guys, because we have a statement, a negative imperative statement, right? Okay, the imperative statement here is in the negative form, so we should keep not right after the the verb. You are obliged not to disturb, right, your friend. Okay, so let's move on to the last suggestion here. Let's plus the active objects here would be let your friend plus the verb be, right? Let your friend be, and then not. Don't forget not. You should always have not there, right? Let your friend be not or not be, rather, right, would be preferable, guys, right? Let your friend not be disturbed. Let your friend not be disturbed. Okay, so let's move on to the next, guys. Number 5, obey your parents. Now it's a matter of oral obligation here. I say can use must, right, or should. It's okay, right? Let's use must again, right? Okay, so here we say your parents. To express an extreme obligation here. Your parents must be obeyed. Your parents must be obeyed. Here again is a verb as usual, guys. Sorry, we usually mark the verb with green. And the next one, guys, your parents would be, sorry. All right. Okay, so let's mark your parents here, which is the objects, the active objects in yellow as usual. Okay, your parents must be obeyed. Or we can use number 2, instruction number 2. You are obliged, right? Or you are ordered. You are, let's say, use obliged here again. You're obliged to obey your parents. You are obliged to obey your parents. Listen to your parents. Okay. And the last example structure, guys, let's plus the active verb. Okay, let your parents and then be plus the past participle of the verb. We have a regular verb here, so we say obey it. Right? Let your parents be obeyed, guys. And again, let's highlight, put this, right, in blue, right, and bold, guys, as usual. But it doesn't sound similar, right? Let's take this. Okay, sorry. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. Alright, I think it sounds okay now. Alright, so we have your parents. Okay, your parents here. Let's just revise. With S at the end. You're obliged to respect, so to obey your parents and let your parents be obeyed. I think that we've come to the end of this practice session, guys. I hope that you have learned a lot from this session. Again, just to remind you, if you have an imperative statement, think of using one of these ways. You're not required to use the 3 suggestions, right? These are 3 just suggestions to transfer your statement into the passive form. You can use the active objects first, plus must or should, plus be, plus the past participle of the active, the main verb, or the active verb. Another suggestion number 2, you can use the expression like you are ordered, or you are advised if there is an advice, or you are required, or you are requested if it's request. plus to plus the main verb, right? The main verb. The main verb here in the infinitive, in the base form, right? Good. Number 3 is to use this expression let plus the active objects, let your parents, plus be plus the past participle obeyed, right? Let your parents be obeyed, as an example. Okay, so I hope that the lesson is clear enough, and inshallah, guys, we shall meet in another practice session to continue more about the passive voice. That's it for today, and goodbye.